fashion tech designer, I think, everything starts, I think, with a design approach is a very important way in just rebuilding, maybe shaping the future. So I think it's very much, it's very important, the design. I think the benefits of a designer is that I think it can give shape to how we want to live, what kind of society we want to live. So it's not only inventing a product, but it's also knowing what use it should be, and also make our life a little bit easier, relevant, nicer. And I think that's the real understanding of a designer. Actually, I think sometimes it's called like a designer is really good in defining the here and now. So it's about lifestyle, it's about living. So actually I think that's why design approach is very important towards a new invention. So fashion tech, actually you can see, I think it's a very relevant area, because the fashion system is still, fashion industry and fashion system are still a very 19th century industrial manufacturing process driven industry. And also on marketing level, I think a lot of ways we have a lot of technology that actually can reshape the fashion system as it is. A lot of things like the way we produce in big collections each half year doesn't necessarily need to be that way. The way we just, for example, use standard measurements doesn't need to be that way, because we can really have body scans, so we can really clearly make close real-to-real measures. There are things as wearable technology, actually, that we can monitor our body or add certain technologies to it. So there's a world to explore, and actually we're still in a phase that we are not exactly knowing how to use these new technologies into what can be the future of fashion. So that's why it is a very exciting period for young designers to explore this fashion tech area. And I think important is, of course, I think a design approach is essential, but it's different from being a classical fashion designer, because you really need to collaborate in a very early stage with engineerings or technologies, because you need an understanding of science, some science areas. You don't have necessarily to understand it in all details, but you need to be able to collaborate with other disciplines in a very early stage to actually invent or design things in a certain kind of direction that will have an outcome or a product. So it's a very different way from a classic designer that only was there with his pattern cutting table and is looking for the right fabrics. This is a very different field where you have to operate. So I think and also I think you should look into the society, but also what monitoring of clothes or using big data, it also is impacting on what society is. So I think that's also a very important new, I think, territory that the designers should be aware of, maybe much more than just thinking, okay, I make a nice dress and I want to sell it as much as possible. It's really exploring why we are wearing those clothes and what those new products can add to society and what kind of impact it will have on society. So also I think this thinking in the society is a very important issue, and not only if it's ethical or if it brings something new to the table that actually maybe gives new opportunity to society, but also I think what's very important for fashion tech is that it can help us to solve the unsustainable fashion industry. I think a lot of new technologies can be embedded and really help to improve and make the supply chains much more sustainable, because we don't have to produce unless it's ordered. We can make it to measure, we can just make digital mock-ups, and there's a whole world to explore there. We only are in the beginning. We have the initial stages for it, but actually I think one big I think probably the fashion tech area is maybe one of the best ways to solve the unsustainable part of the fashion system. So I'm a real believer in fashion tech as the way to solve a lot of issues in the fashion industry.